So, hello, welcome to Practice Insider's Edge. My name is Dr. Derek Barron.
Hi, and I'm Terri Barron.
We are, as I said before, we are really excited to bring you to the Patient Challenge pre-launch. We want to give you some details about what's going to be happening in our Patient Challenge program that we're going to be running through Facebook in one of our private groups, and we'll dig into that a little bit further. So again, thank you very much for joining us live here this evening on a Thursday evening. If you're near where we are in the Chicagoland area, we had some beautiful weather, so we hope it's going great for you. Any initial comments here, dear?
No, I'm just ready to get going.
All right, so let me share the screen with you. So this is essentially our slide deck that I shouldn't say my wife put it together, so she gets all the kudos for that. So this is an introduction. The details are inside, but what we really want to do is essentially, show you what this program is about. And by introduction, again, my name is Dr. Derek Barron. I'm a chiropractor. I have my diplomate in sports. We practiced together for a great 7-8 years in our company called Integrity Sports Medicine. It was a fantastic time in which we covered a couple of high schools, did a bunch of things, learned some positives about private practice and some negatives as well. And then we've both worked in different situations. I first started out of college in an orthopedic office with an orthopedic surgeon and ran a rehab department, and then, worked my way up into having our own private practice, and then again, worked for another individual after we moved. So it was I've had a great experience by myself and working with other people. My wife's had, unbelievable career as well.
Well, thank you. I don't know if it was unbelievable, but I've worked in sports medicine, so in the orthopedic realm niche my whole career. I'm on 29 years now of practice with my degrees. I am a physical therapist and an athletic trainer, and I did do those degrees simultaneously. Again, as Derek said, I've worked for all kinds of other people, from a small mom and pop shop clinics to our own amazing sports medicine practice up in northern Wisconsin, which is where we're both originally from. And then I've also kind of ended my career treating patients and then transitioned into the corporate world working for a big box company. So a lot of different experience, from the mom and shop to my own to the big box companies, and worked in at the corporate level in the big box company as well. So kind of experience from all over the realm of outpatient physical therapy and athletic training. So that's my background, the skinny.
All right, well, let's dig in a little bit deeper into this. So what's in store for us today? We want to bring you a high-level overview of the Patients Challenge, which is actually a 9-week program. You can tell this is live. We have kind of practiced a little bit, but we'll go through it.
We're going to reveal the 3 primary challenges that private practice owners face when they're trying to bring in new patients to their clinics.
And we're going to share the solutions to these 3 challenges that you as a private practitioner are facing. They'll be addressed in the Patient Challenge program itself.
And then we'll wrap it up with sharing with you how you can actually join us in the Patient Challenge, in this wonderful starter edition, this kickoff edition of this program for us.
Yeah, we're looking for founders, and we hope that you are one of them. So how will this, or I guess you could say, where will this be delivered?
Yes.
This will be delivered in our private Facebook group, where it's, again, you can see.
A private Facebook group.
Yes, not this one, specifically to the Patient Challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll be separate from if you are in our current private Facebook group for Practice Insider's Edge. This is a separate group that will be exclusive to those who join the challenge.
Yeah, great point. And the kickoff is actually going to be next Thursday. So from a week today, starting 7 p.m. is where we'll have our live calls. So in a sense, how it works is inside of Facebook groups, there are, it used to be called units, and now it's called guides. So we will have guides that are going to guide you through the program itself. Every week, we're going to have a live call. We'll go over the previous week's content, answer any questions that you have, maybe a little foreshadowing into what's coming on into the near future, but answer questions and cover some of the components that we went through with homework that we were given, and give you some insights as ways to actually implement it in practice.
Right. So the content that you're really looking for will be in that private Facebook group, and will be delivered in a couple of platforms. There will be video tutorials in there for you. There will be PDFs, downloadable material, so that you'll have access to all of that. When you join the patient challenge, you have access to that the entire time that you're in the challenge, and you can download the information that you find in the guides. Like Derek said, the call that we have every week is a coaching call. So again, it will be going over the previous week's content. So that's up to you on how you want to find the time or work it out or jump on the calls. The live calls will be recorded as well. So we recognize that 7 o'clock Thursday evening Central Standard Time isn't going to be ideal for everyone, and that's okay because the calls are recorded. You'll be able to pick them up and listen to them whenever it works for your schedule, which is really convenient when it comes to trying to make everybody happy at the same time in presenting a program.
Yeah, and the videos, like the calls are going to be about 45, 60 minutes long, or if there's more questions, we'll stay around till they're answered. But there will be the videos inside of there. We'll have kind of like a main video covering the topic, and then we'll have some satellite videos explaining them in smaller chunks. Hopefully the videos inside of there will never go over 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes long, to try and deliver the content that'll help you for the homework that week to advance to the next. So this is essentially a sneak peek into the practice leverage method. And what we mean by that is our true flagship program is called the practice leverage method. Through what we've gone in practice, what I've done outside of practice, once I've left and gone into marketing for practices, I've learned along the way in order to go from, A here on the form, the mindset that you have to be as a clinician, advancing you up to the mindset of a CEO, and the proper processes and systems to put in place for your practice to be successful. So we're going to actually take out snippets of this in the program.
Right. And like Derek said, this is our flagship program or our signature program. And Derek is a little bit modest. Since he left actually treating patients on a regular basis, he has been doing more than marketing. He's been doing marketing, consulting, and coaching for 10 years now. So this is not something that was just thrown together. This is a lot of world experience that we both had in the professions of physical therapy, athletic training, chiropractic, sports medicine, and it is really evolved from Derek's experience initially over the past 9.5, 10 years. And then I came on about a year ago to start to bring in a different component of the private practice healthcare business owners, meaning more of the physical therapists, occupational therapists, exercise physiologists, kind of that realm. So this is our signature system. And again, we're taking pieces of this that we feel are the most appropriate, putting them together in this exclusive package called the Patient Challenge. And so we just wanted to give you a peek of what's the next level, just in case that you decide to join us on the Patient Challenge and you want to know, maybe have a glimpse of what's next.
Thank you. All right. Now this is, it's a big slide. It's a busy slide, but it's really important. I'm actually going to take us off of there for a second, just so. Sorry if I just cut off our audio from that, but we'll keep this here and we'll go large layout screen on it that way.
There we go. So
in this screen, what's important to understand is that everybody has a roadmap in their practice. And in their practice, you're going from when you start, or even if you've been in practice for a while, depending on where it is, on the left-hand side here, you're going to see new patient flow. And that's really patient flow, whether it's new or returning patients. People have practices that are inconsistent with new patient flow, and they may be in a drought. Some people are consistent and they're growing. Some people have a reliable flow of leads and it's flowing. And then this is where everybody wants to be in the dream business level, where the floods are coming in any way you want. The beauty of this is almost like a self-diagnostic tool. You see where you're at on the system of your business, right? And these numbers aren't necessarily arbitrary. There is truth to them because of the conversations I've had over and over, but you may be, surviving and you may be above in that level. But if you look at the diagnostic component of how you can advance up the levels to the next level and next level, you may not have all those processes and systems in place. So it's important that you do that. So, when you're watching this video, just pause it, come back and look at it. And, you may be frustrated. You may be exhausted. You may be starting to see some momentum, and you may be having to have some pride and legacy in the practice as you advance up. And we want to help you go from whatever level you are here and advance up. From all the processes. And what we've put together in the practice leverage method allows you to do that. And as Terri had said, we're taking out a large portion of the foundational components to help it grow. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
So let me come back this way and we will advance again. So most private practices, owners think that this is what you're really supposed to do. So I'm going to click out of this so we're back on the screen. Most private practice owners think this is what they should be doing and unfortunately are told that this is what they should be doing. If you look at the practice leverage method, it's the very top. We have a practice foundation, we have a patient foundation, we have practice drivers, and the very top are called practice accelerators. The accelerators are truly your marketing components. Patients on demand, creating content, and what's called a retargeting roadmap. That's what's going to drive more and more patients back into your system over and over and over, essentially at times on autopilot. But we believe that you have to be set up from a foundational level. Too many practices believe that this is what they should be doing, and they're told by marketers out there that this is the only thing that you should be doing. Facebook ads, creating content, Instagram videos, and that's it. And yes, those work, but not as well as if you have the foundational component set in.
Exactly. And so when Derek says it's on the top, what we're referencing, we'll show you here in the next slide. We're talking about the 4 levels of the practice leverage method, our signature system, which really helps clients to grow and scale their practices. So here's all 4 levels that we're referencing, and it really doesn't make sense to just focus on that top level. When we say top, this is the last level that you're supposed to focus on to grow and scale your practice. We're not poo-pooing this level. Obviously, these things are crucial to growing and scaling your practice, but you don't start at the end. You start at the beginning, at the foundation. So go ahead and click again. These 3 levels of the practice foundation, the patient foundation, and the practice drivers, those really should be addressed first so that you have that solid footing for your practice, that solid foundation, and then you advance into that top level. And again, we feel like that's part of our unique selling point, is that Practice Insider's Edge recognizes that there's a lot of components to helping clients grow and scale their practice before you get to that top level. So again, we want that top level to be included, but we really are going to hit on these base layers first.
And you'll see why as we kind of progress through this. So we really want you to ask the question, why should you consider the patient challenge?
Right.
There's really 3 levels of practitioners that are out there right now. And we're looking at this. What are you going to do over the next 30, 60, 90, 120 days the next year? Where are you at? So for most providers, they're going to do the same thing that they've been consistently doing. And when that happens, what type of results do you get?
I think you're going to get the same thing.
The same exact thing. And
Yes.
if you've been happy with how your practice is going, then stick with that. We don't want to take you out of your comfort zone. We don't want you to be anywhere that you're not comfortable doing. Maybe at some point in time, you'll advance later into that with us. But just understand, if you're going to do the same thing, you're going to be at the same place in 30, 60, 90 days from now. The negative part is there's some that are going to do nothing. And that doesn't mean that they're not doing the same thing. By nothing, there's a kind of a twofold effect, meaning they're not going to advance at all. Expect to just wait on referrals to always be there.
Mm-hmm.
Wait on dinner talks. Wait on doing, referrals from inside patients. The problem with that is, what happens when the competitor across the street from where you're at joins the patient challenge, or they actually start doing some type of marketing and getting more reviews into their practice and are going live on Facebook and generating more patients? What that's actually going to do to your practice is put you behind.
And then there's the other point that we talked about earlier with the do nothing. You're just expecting the same old things to happen to send you patients. What happens when you get that retirement letter from a primary referral source that says they're no longer going to be practicing? And that's a quarter of your business or more.
You just had somebody mention that to you this week.
I did. I just had a connection let me know that they just got that retirement letter, and it was a referring physician that referred a quarter of the patients that they take in their practice per year. And the doctor just let them know, the physician let them know that they're going to be retiring. And what are you going to do about it? You're just doing nothing because you were relying on a quarter of your patients to be coming from that referral source. So you're going to be in the red. That's not a good situation. And we don't wish that on anyone.
No, not at all. And then finally, those that take action with the patient challenge or advance further into the practice leverage method, you're going to have that hockey stick effect of improving your practice, improving yourself, because we're going to talk about the mindset shift of going from the clinician to the CEO and the difference that that makes in your practice and in yourself personally. You have to do something if you don't like what's happening right now. If you look in the mirror and you're not happy where your business is, where your practice is, there's nobody else to blame but yourself. Even if that physician sends you that retirement letter, now's the time to put on your work boots and get to work. We'd love for you to join us in the patient challenge to help you get past that point.
Exactly.
All right. So what will the patient challenge, what the patient challenge will help you do. So again, in this portion, you can see as you go back, you'll see that where that little white line is there, we talked about having a lead generating mobile optimized website. We're not going to talk about that because we're hoping you have one, or we can discuss that at another point.
We're not going to talk about it today just because we're talking about what we are including in the patient challenge. So that's something
as part of what comes out of the practice leverage method.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So we include that in the practice leverage method, but that's a different program. So in the patient challenge, that's not part of the program. So just so you know, we didn't white it out to try to take something away from you. It really does exist. It's just not part of the patient challenge. So these are the items that we're discussing now that are going to be a part of the patient challenge.
Yeah. So inside the practice foundation, we're going to help you with Google Maps presence, help you with a 5-star reputation, and then we're also going to help you with your social media presence in the practice. A critical part is creating your patient avatar, your perfect patient avatar, creating your perfect patient message that speaks to that ideal patient, and then having you create for your own practice a specific solution for that patient that you've created. Again, as we've said in some of our videos before, if you enjoy seeing golfers in your practice, you're going to come up with the Barron golf method or whatever that may be for you. And that's just one. You can take the same process that we're going through and create that for another niche that you want to go after. So we're not telling you to scrap any of your patients. We want you to do what's important. And then everybody wants the practice accelerators, and we're going to go through that with the social media component and doing some Facebook Live and stuff that's really, really interesting that will help you grow tremendously within your community.
So that's kind of our bonus that we've added into the patient challenge, is that we don't want to tease you with, here are the practice accelerators, but we're not going to talk about them. We are going to include one of the practice accelerators in the patient challenge for those of you who join us.
So here's the patient challenge that we've done in some videos before. And this is the full entire system, blown out. I'll make the screen bigger for you to take a peek at as well. So what this talks about is in the center of this triangle is patients. We want you all to get more patients. But there's some components that we want to talk about where it's where you need to worry about some issues that you have and what we can do to fix those issues.
Exactly. All right, so let's start before we go into the solutions. Let's outline, as we promised at the beginning of this evening, that we were going to talk about the 3 main solutions that our private practice healthcare business owners, the 3 main problems. I think I said solutions. Yeah. The 3 main problems that our private practice healthcare business owners have in bringing new patients into their practice. So the first foundational issue that they have is they have poor online presence, and they don't have any reputation, or maybe even a poor reputation when it comes to their practice online. So that's problem number 1.
Problem number 2 is poor quality leads. In practice, people are, well, what's a lead? Well, a lead is just a patient, whether it's a reactivated patient or it's a new patient. A lead is essentially, you don't have good quality leads coming in the door because they don't know who you are, don't understand that, or you're not creating what will help you create the ideal patient for you to attract in.
And then the third problem is that you have a poor social media presence. And that is different than an online presence. Just because social media is online, those are not the same thing.
Great
and
point.
Hence, that's why you see them listed as 2 of the 3 main problems or focal problems for our practice owners in bringing in new patients to their practice.
So now we want to talk about the solutions. And so there are problems that are taking place out there. We want to talk to you about the solutions. So we want to help you get on page 1 of Google Your Practice and have a 5-star reputation, because there are people in the community that are searching for a chiropractor near me, or they're searching for a physical therapist near me, or an occupational therapist near me. We want them to be able to find you in your practice and help you generate leads that way.
So solution number 2 is to counter the fact that you have poor quality leads, we want to help you find, generate, create hot leads that convert. So that sounds a lot better than having poor quality leads.
And then finally, we want to help you become a local social media influencer in your community from a healthcare perspective. And what we're going to show you as far as a show that you will do, it'll change the game of how you are perceived in your community. It will also change the game of other providers wanting to work with you. And therefore, it opens other referral components inside of it.
Absolutely.
So then what's the solution with Google My Business being on page 1 and having a 5-star reputation? The first thing is making sure that we help you make sure your Google My Business page is set up correctly. It's critical that it's done correctly and consistently for Google to reward you.
And then we're going to teach you how you need to ask for reviews. Right? The reviews don't magically show up online. There is a way to get the reviews and get the 5-star reviews that you want to help promote the business. So we're going to be coaching to that. So these are the 3 items that we're going to make sure that you feel like you've got the content, the knowledge that you can move forward when you finish the patient challenge by having the understanding of Google My Business, how to ask for reviews, and
video testimonials.
Yes.
Video testimonials are critical. You always having reviews written for you or put on Google or on Facebook are fantastic, but you want to make sure that you have video testimonials because those people will help you sell your product. And the product is you, it's your staff, it's your office. You can do a great job, but if you can have somebody say where you took them from, total knee replacement or a motor vehicle accident or anything of that nature, and took them from where they were when they first came in to where they advanced to, you want to make sure that they're speaking volumes for you and about you, and that will help bring in more new patients as well.
And keep in mind, a testimonial is very different than a review. So they sound like they could be the same, but they're different, and they're going to help promote your practice in a different way. And these are unique, authentic ways that a lot of marketers out there today are not really sharing with our private practice owners as ways that they can grow their practice, their business. And so that's why we feel these are a really foundational piece. And just a lot of practice owners aren't aware of how crucial these are. They might be aware of Google My Business or that they need reviews, but they don't recognize how important this is to actually growing and scaling their practice.
Yeah, especially when you go to use them in your marketing component. Mm-hmm. All right.
So we're going to go on to solution number 2, right? And the 3 components we're going to hit on during the patient challenge and our 9-week challenge is we're going to go over first how coach to and teach how to identify, create your perfect patient avatar. And we've done another tutorial just recently on how to do this. So we're not going to get into a lot of detail here tonight, but that's going to be one of the components on helping you to get a hot lead that actually converts.
Yeah. And then we'll help you craft and create your perfect patient message. That's a message that's going to speak directly to the patient, that your patients are suffering from pain or they want to advance into function. We want your message to be able to speak directly to them and how they can improve themselves.
And when we say we want you to craft this message, it is specifically for that perfect patient avatar. Correct. It's a very specific patient message specifically for that perfect patient avatar. And again, this is going to be a process that once you've done it and you've been successful at it, you're going to be able to repeat this with other types, niches, categories of patients that you really want to draw into your practice. And then the third component of this hot leads that convert solution is that, as we alluded to earlier or spoke to, we want to help you to create a specific method that you, your staff, your practice actually can promote, market, and that it's something that you deliver to that perfect patient to help them solve whatever their issue is. So again, if it's the golfer, if you've got specific ways that you like to teach a stretch or you like to do some core exercises, we're going to help you craft a method specifically that, again, is going to follow through in your marketing for that perfect patient that you're trying to attract.
And then we're going to go into helping you become a local social media influencer. And this is going to jump into that top level where we talked about the accelerators of the practice. We'll talk to you about social media posting, the importance of daily posting. It's great if you can go live all the time, which is the second component. Sorry to take that away from you, Terri.
No.
But going live consistently will be rewarded on social media from Facebook, but also you'll get viewers consistently. They're going to want to stick into what you're having to do. And then we're going to talk to you about a show.
Exactly. Probably a Facebook show. Can they do that on Instagram too?
You can, but it's
Facebook?
You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on YouTube as well. And if you have the ability to do it on LinkedIn, it's another great way in which you feel you have patients that may convert from there. But it's a show that you would do on Facebook just because of the ability of using software similar to this, that you can interact with patients as well. So it's, simply we call it a Wellness Wednesday show. It's where you are purely going live on Wednesdays or Tuesday or whatever day you want. And we're going to show you how to create the show. We'll show you things that will help you build that show and actually even how to market that. I know we talked about this wouldn't be anything with Facebook ads, but we'll show you how you can run some Facebook ads to drive people to watch that, to get more and more viewership and actually get patients out of it as well.
Wow. So that was a lot of content that we just threw at you, but that is the overview of what's going to happen in the 9-week patient challenge. So hopefully this makes sense when you look at the slide now, as opposed to when we first put it up there for you. So all of this content, again, is going to have tutorials. We're going to have documents so that you've got access resources to continue to reference. And it isn't just going to be relying on a once a week, 1 hour-ish phone call, coaching call with Derek and myself. So hopefully now that you got a little bit, we're not going to dive into it deep. That's what the program is all about, but hopefully this makes sense. And perhaps one of these solutions kind of tugs at you more than another. And regardless of you thinking you may want or need one more than another, we're pretty sure that you're going to be happy with the information and the content and the teachings and the coachings of all of these components.
Yeah, it'll be a great way for you to help and grow your practice. So as we come close to the end here, we want you to kind of look at this as a quiz. Where is your practice at? It's from a self-diagnosis aspect again. So these are 5 critical components that every business has to have. You have to have new, fresh blood coming in, patient generation. You have to nurture those patients along the way, both current, past, and future. Right. You need to be converting them. We'll talk about that. Delivering is what you should already be fantastic at, which we're sure you are. And then retention, resell, upsell. So whatever you have for other components. And all of these aspects are going to help truly with patient generation, meaning when you look to improve your Google My Business status, this will help you rank higher in Google when somebody's searching for a chiropractor near me or a physical therapist near me, as an example. When you start to get more reviews, that helps you jump up in the Google rankings. And when you get video testimonials, that will help you get more patients. It's all at the start of this as far as generating more new patients. Then in order to generate the patients you ideally want to see, that's the patient foundation, where you're creating the ideal message to feed that ideal patient, and then have the method that works for you in your practice with those patients. And then turning on the marketing aspect, once you have those few foundational components set up, we do this stuff with social posting and Facebook Live and going live to continually do that for you. Because again, the lifeblood of the practice is new patients coming in, or regenerating, reactivating those patients that were there to bring them in.
Exactly. So all of the patient challenge will help you with the marketing. It isn't designed about just marketing. It is really designed to help you make your practice better organically. And then with the bonus, we are going to make sure that you feel comfortable with accelerating your practice with some specifics of marketing. When we touch on this quiz here and we touch on these 5 categories, one that really jumped out at us when we were prepping was actually this category number 2, the patient nurture. With patient generation, patient nurture, and patient conversion, keep in mind, these are potential patients. These are not actual patients that have signed up and have done their initial eval and are actually in your queue, in your practice. So patient generation is going out there and finding potential patients. And what we need our practice owners to keep in mind is that everyone doesn't need you at this very moment. So it's really crucial to understand how to set up your foundations of your practice appropriately and to make sure that you're out there so that you are teaching and educating and nurturing potential patients. And those potential patients might be current patients, but a different condition. Maybe you're seeing someone for an ankle sprain right now, but one of your perfect patient avatars is low back pain. And this patient tweaks their back. And because you're taking care of them and they're part of your system and processes, they get to learn that that's a specialty that you actually take care of. And maybe they'll end up seeing you simultaneously or back to back for one condition and then another. Patient nurturing is also about making sure that you have contact with potential patients. Maybe it's emails and newsletters. Maybe it's a texting campaign, even though they may not currently be a patient, because you simply have connected with them, maybe through social media, and you are nurturing them and feeding them information and education that makes them better people. But at some point, they may need you, and you're going to be top of mind awareness. So patient nurture, patient generation, those are not necessarily those people that are right in your clinic, in your system, in your pipeline right now. It's people that you have to know how to bring in, how to turn the faucet on when you do need some more patients. And so this quiz, what we want you to do is just take a moment and look at each of these 5 categories and give yourself a score of 1 to 5. We suspect there are not going to be a lot of perfect 25s out there. So if you are a perfect 25, awesome, kudos. We love it. If you're anything less than a 25, we think that you can probably get something out of the patient challenge that we're going to offer you. We do kind of expect, as Derek said, that most of us are going to give ourselves a 5 in how we deliver our care to our patients, because I think we all pride ourselves in how great we are and how much we care about our patients. So it's okay. We give you permission. You can give yourself a 5 in the delivery. Everything else, be kind of tough on yourself, because if you are, then you're going to be able to identify where there are some areas for improvement for your practice. And then hopefully some of this information we've shared with you today is going to connect with you. And you might feel that the patient challenge might be a place where you could improve.
Yeah. I love what you said, Terri. I want you to think of how this is a looping system. So again, we want to make sure that patient generation is key on your mindset. We want you to be ranking high in Google. We want you to have testimonials, reviews that are placed on Google and Facebook, and we want you to get video testimonials. Because when you send out a newsletter to your list that you're working on a patient, and you get a video testimonial of them about how you worked on them after a motor vehicle accident, and you send that out to your newsletter, and inside that newsletter, it talks about this is the last Wednesday Wellness Wednesday show that we did. And on that Wednesday show, we talked about knee stuff. So not only in that newsletter do you have your weekly show image that's in there, but you have a video testimonial. So every week or every bi-weekly or at least monthly, when you're sending out your newsletter to your patients, you want them to see what you're doing. And this system that we've built, the Patient's Challenge, is actually going to help you feed that system over and over and over again. They all work on themselves. And a lot of people look at the patient aspect of having high converting leads or patients. It's a critical component for you to continually build in the practice. So your practice can have a method, and you can have different methods for each type of patient. But each of these components that help your business grow will be fed by the Patient Challenge. So I just want you to see that each part that's in there helps the patient generation. And by the nurturing, we're continuing to work on them. So let me go here. So the goal of this is it's more than just patients, right?
Right. The Patient Challenge is about more than just getting you new patients. We're not selling a program. Really what Practice Insider's Edge is doing is we want to build a community of the private practice healthcare business owner.
Yeah, it's not easy out there. We just made it through 2020. And it had some issues with it. 2021 isn't necessarily coming out, shining, other than here in Illinois. We've had some great weather at the start of the year. But We want to be a place where people can connect. We want to be able to help you grow your practice. We want to be able to help you grow personally. And ultimately, the goal is we want you to succeed, help your family succeed. And since we don't necessarily treat patients consistently anymore, we want you to be able to help. We want to be able to help you treat more patients as well. So it's kind of a win-win for us. If we help you grow, we know we're touching people in your community as well.
And then we want to remind you that we help private practice healthcare business owners with a number of components, right? We help you to create clarity. There is a lot of cloudiness and dim corners when it comes to owning your own practice and running your own practice successfully. And it doesn't matter if you're a solo practitioner or if you have a staff of 40 clinicians, doctors, clinicians that work with you. So we help you with the clarity. We help you to build confidence as you are growing and scaling your practice. And then we also help you to commit to yourself, to your staff, and to the process. So there's a lot of talk about processes and systems. That's real. I mean, the way that you're going to find success is to find those processes and systems. And we want to help you to commit to those for yourself, your practice. And that's going to help you to grow and scale your practice. All right, now what? Okay, we're getting to the end, right? So it's time to take some action. This was great. We loved chatting with you and sharing all of our excitement about this new program, but you need to take some action. Okay, so there's a next step. So we do want to share that there is going to be a founder's special rate because this is our pilot program for the patient challenge. So in June, when we run this program for its second iteration, it's going to be $3,000 for the 9-week program. But our founder special for this iteration only, starting on March 18th, is just $1,500. So it's a 50% reduction, and we will offer a payment plan for those who are looking for a little breakdown in that $1,500 fee.
Yeah, and we'll actually post the link to this purchase in the description of this video for you if you want to do that. And the other part is there are some people that may want to chat with us. In other words, they're just not sure. And if that is you, fine, have a conversation with us. We'll also drop the link to be able to set up a strategy session with us where we will put that in there where it's easier for you to get past this process if you aren't sure, because being uneasy is part of the growth process. And again, it comes down to what are you going to do from this point moving forward? You see this video, we've talked about it. Are you going to do the same thing you've been doing? You're going to get the same results.
The same results, the same probably mediocre results, because there's probably a reason why you clicked on to watch the video or join us tonight.
Yeah. And if you do nothing and your competitor across the street or in your community does something that's better, it's going to hurt you even more. And unfortunately, it becomes an exponential loss. And then if you take action by joining us in the patient challenge, we'd love it if you did. We'd love for you to be one of the founders with us because we know we're going to deliver a package that helps you grow and your practice grow. And that's what we're about here. So again, if you want to schedule that call, we'll make sure that we drop that link inside of the description as well. You can click on that and schedule a time that works best for you. So
we really, really are looking forward to you joining us. So there are 3 ways that you can join us. You can click on the registration link and sign up and be one of our founding members of the Patient Challenge. Again, it's going to kick off. It's going to start with the first live coaching call next Thursday, March 18th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's the first way you can join us. The second way that you can join us is to schedule a call. We understand that there can be some apprehension. This is an investment. We get it. We've presented that there's a tremendous amount of value to help you change where you are right now over the next 30, 60, 90, 120 days. But if there's some apprehension, schedule a call. So that's the next way that you could join us. And the final way you could join us is pretty simple. If you aren't already a member of our private Facebook group that is for Practice Insiders Edge, you can definitely definitely seek us out, and we can put some information as well in the link so that you can find out how you can join the group. And you will continue to get tidbits and tutorials, but it's also a place to connect with other private practice healthcare business owners. Hopefully some of our group is going to join us in this founder edition, and you'll be able to hear some of the wonderful things that they're sharing and we're sharing inside of our private Facebook group for Practice Insider's Edge. So you definitely can join us in one of those 3 ways.
So thank you very much for taking part of your evening with us or your day with us, depending on when you watch this. If you have any questions, drop a comment in at any point in time. You are welcome to message myself or Terri. We'd love to be able to, answer any questions you have. And, even one point that we should ask is, if you're not sure how it's going to go, the program is going to start next week, Thursday. We're rolling no matter what. Every week we'll start having people enter into the system. So you don't have to worry about if you come in late. We'd love for you to start at the beginning, but coming in June is when there will be a price change. So we don't want to do one of those sleazeball bait and switch. Jump in when you can, and we'd love to help you, you and your practice grow.
And if you're looking for what is my time commitment, if I do want to join the patient challenge, we want you to be prepared about 2 to 3 hours a week. If you can find 2 to 3 hours a week, and it again doesn't mean you have to be on the live phone call with us, but you need to be able to find that commitment to really make a difference. And if you think that you can find that 2 to 3 hours a week, you're definitely going to be in a positive, different place in the next 30, 60, 90 days, 120 days, if you join us with the Patients Challenge.
All right. Thank you again for joining us here. Any questions, again, feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah, thank you so much. We had a blast, and hopefully you found something valuable out of this. And please leave us a comment if you did. That would be really great to hear your feedback. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.